also a newspaper publisher.
Yeah.
In my hometown.
Yes.
And I would just observe that the Washington Post was very thin and doing a lot less enterprise kind of journalism than they once did. And now they're thicker and doing more and have more people.
Yeah.
What's your goal there? Why are you doing it?
Yeah.
How can you do it? How can you change it?
Yeah. It's the goal is really simple. I bought the Post because, well, tactically I bought the Post because I've been friends with Don Graham for 15 years. If I hadn't been friends with Don Graham, it never would have happened for a whole bunch of reasons. But when he proposed it to me, I was nervous that I didn't know anything about the newspaper business. And he said, look, Jeff, we've got a lot of people who know about the newspaper business. What we really need is somebody who knows something about the internet. And so anyway, he kind of had several conversations with me, and we worked through whether I thought I could actually bring anything to the table. But the reason I finally bought it is because I think it's an important institution. And I would not have bought it if it had been a financially upside down, salty snack food company. I would not have bought it. And I happen to believe it's very important. It is the paper that is best situated, because of its geography, to cover the capital city of the most important country in the world. And that country now, more than ever, always it's needed, but it needs to, our elected leaders and all the people in DC that run most of the country need to be examined. And that's a great paper to do that.
And what do you bring to it that's different? Because I've been friends with Don for at least 15 years.
Well, strategy-wise...
And he never offered it to me, Jeff.
Well, yeah. I can't explain that.
I can't explain it.
I think it was...
Kara knows him, too.
It was an oversight.
He could offer it to the two
I
of
understand. I understand. I'm sure he just,
okay.
He couldn't exhaustively approach all of the logical buyers.
What can you do for that, or with that, what you just described, very important?
Our approach, so I believe that the business strategy of the Washington Post for many decades was fantastic, because they were incredibly clear that they were going to be a local paper. And from a business point of view, that was an amazingly effective strategy. That paper was so profitable for so long and made so much money. It was a very good strategy. The internet turned that upside down for a whole bunch of reasons that would take more than the hour that we had. We'd have to spend a whole conversation to go over all the reasons why the internet has turned local newspapers upside down. But what the Post has to do is a very difficult, but I think for the Post, a doable transition. I'm optimistic. I'm even more optimistic today than I was 2 years ago when I bought the paper. And that is, we have to go from a business model where we used to make a relatively large amount of money per reader with a relatively small number of readers, to a model where we make a relatively small amount of money per reader, but on a very large number of readers.
That reminds me of Amazon.
So that's exactly right. And we have to go, and the good news is, for all of the things that the internet took away from the traditional media business, one of the gifts that it brought is almost zero cost global distribution. So, if you go back in time, 10 years or 20 years, it would have been very, very expensive to decide I'm going to have a global newspaper. You have to have printing plants everywhere and distribution facilities everywhere. A couple of people did it, very challenging. And now, the fixed expense to do that is almost zero.
So is the Washington Post going to become a truly global newspaper?
Yeah, that's what we're working on. So we're working to become a national and to some degree global newspaper, and for people who are interested in the news of the capital city of the United States. We've thought about it. We have a lot of higher priorities than that, because there's just still a lot of the English-speaking world available to us that we don't need to translate it for. A lot of people in the United States.